I'm Richard Lewis, reporting for cadred.org, and I'm here with a chap that I've certainly not met before because it's going to be my first interview in the wonderful world of SMITE. It is Hyrrok from Copenhagen Wolves. How's it going? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Great.
Enjoying the event.
Yeah, well, you say enjoying the event. You've been working hard, just streaming and playing the entire time.
Been streaming on like a 52-inch monitor. It looks amazing.
Right. I want to talk about loads because it's the first SMITE interview, and you know, you're one of the more well-known players in Europe. I definitely think there's lots of scope to talk. But let's start with a bit about you know, your team. So Copenhagen Wolves, I mean, that's where you are now, but you've been together in the same kind of lineup for a very, very long period of time.
We've swapped names a few times. We even started like back in ESG, like back with like Xing and like people. It's been a ride.
So tell me about that ride. How is it that you've ended up in you know, such a prestigious European organisation, you know, for what is still a very new esports title?
We basically just started playing on this TeamSpeak server, and me and Spoo kind of met each other, and we figured out like, hey, you're pretty good, and we have a pretty good pretty good link in what we're doing. So it was like, okay, we want to go further with this because we really enjoy the game. And then we kind of met people, and it was like, okay, let's form a team and do stuff. And then we heard about tournaments, and then it went on and on. Then it was like started in ESG because they wanted an EU branch, and then it was good then. But then the NA team kind of disbanded, so we went on like, oh, let's play for fun, to just like make a gag about people when it was just a running gag pretty much. Then we went further on to like, what was it, like, bipolar method we moved on to, and when we and then we got picked up by My Revenge.
My Revenge, it was.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it was. And then we kind of met another like point of interest, and it's like these Copenhagen Wolves guys, they're really looking in for a team for a SMITE scheme, but they weren't sure that we were like looking for a team as well. So it was like, okay, but then we ended up with the Wolves because.
Well, you had lots of people approaching you, though. I mean,
before my rent.
Yeah, I mean, before you joined Wolves, what I got told was you had loads of like organisations interested in your team.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of offers because like there's a lot of EU organisations that really want us, but we kind of wanted like a bigger and more established. Like we didn't just want some people that were like, oh, you can just play and then like get our name out there. Like we want Wolves because we know that they're committed and they want like to just make like esport a scene, and I think it's really good for like SMITE in general.
Well, certainly the SMITE community is growing at the moment. There's been a lot of big organisations that have picked up teams. You've got, you know, SK Gaming in there, Root Gaming in there, and Reason Gaming have had a team, and yet Curse as well. How can I forget those guys? So it's an exciting time to be playing SMITE right now, I guess. Well, what's your take on the kind of birth of the competitive scene? I mean, how are you finding it from inside the eye of the storm?
Oh. It's not, I wouldn't say frustrating, but it's kind of funky when you're an EU player and then you have the NA players, and we meet up and like, oh, I have 150 ping, oh my god, I'm not hitting, and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's pretty cool because it's always cool to like meet like American people, because there's such a big difference in like not only personalities but also play styles. Like we've always been called like defensive players. Yeah. Even though we just sit back because we generally go for the picks that just. That just fits us instead of just having a lane that just wins, and that just makes for defensive plays because we can't really fight them in lane. So we just have to like stall it until we can get to that point where we know that we're just that 1 inch stronger than them, and then we can go for them. Which is why we've been like, oh my god, Europeans are like so defensive.
Have you been adapting to the idea of SMITE as an esport? Because obviously it's a term I think not a lot of people who play gaming competitively will be familiar with. I think esports, it's still a very new concept, and there's a lot of professionalism expected from the players, even at quite kind of low-level esports titles. So, I mean, how have you been adapting to, you know, having to wear a shirt and do interviews like this one and that stuff?
It's really weird for me. This is also my first interview, so it's like, oh, okay. But I mean, it's really interesting and has a lot of like potential as well. Like I really see SMITE has a potential. because it's really fun to play and very skill based. Has a big skill cap, and yeah, just I really want to see like more of this, and I'm really looking for more like offline tournaments. It's gonna be fun.
Well, you've been at PAX recently, so we oh, sorry, you weren't at PAX. No, oh, yeah, of course, that's right. I know why you weren't at PAX as well. Cause, but you just missed out on the. I think it was the qualifier recently. Yeah. So
no, we didn't miss out on. We were there at PAX. We did play at PAX, but it was just because we just branched over to Wolves, and it was too short of a notice.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that kind of bungled my next question, but don't worry about it. I'll just style it out anyway. But I know that you guys have been kind of, playing particularly well online. You've had some very close finishes and some, top 3 finishes, and there's been some things going on there, and obviously we're not going to talk about too much. But, I mean, whereabouts do you think you are in terms of the competitive scene at the moment? I mean,
as a player or as a team?
As a team.
Or as a team, I think we're definitely up like top 4, top 3. But the thing is, like with SMITE at the moment, we have this core of like BLG and A, and we have Curse, and we have Root, and we have us, which are really strong teams. But we have different play styles, and it kind of shifts when like there's a new patch or we just pick something up, like a new item, just small things. Like it can just change everything, or just like if you made a really great play in a lane and you just get like that inch ahead, then you can pretty much snowball from there, kind of. I wouldn't say that there's like a best team in the world. I would say there's a best team in the world at the moment. I mean, Curse at the moment is playing phenomenally. I mean, they're really playing a good strategy, and it's working for them.
What about what Hi-Rez are doing in terms of, we've got some big competitions. We've had the $10,000, I think it was, tournament, and they've just announced a $100,000 one, which is, I imagine, the European element of that's going to be played at DreamHack, I think, I think that's what's happening. I don't know if I'm revealing anything with it. If I am, I apologise. That's what I've heard. So, I mean, what do you make of that, the kind of LAN scene and how that's developing?
Oh, as a LAN scene, I would love it. It's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be a really fun experience, just like to meet up in the team, because we have it. Like I've only met Spray from the team actually. Yeah. So yeah, really, because like he's Swedish, and then we have like Spoo and Badger, which is Norwegian, and we have like Yumbe, like an English player. So no, I don't know. I don't think it would be weird to meet them, but I think it would be a really good experience. Also, just for the team in general, and like. I can't really say if it's going to be in DreamHack or where it's going to be, but I mean, wherever it is, I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
Do you think that Hi-Rez at the moment, the way that they've got this interaction with the competitive community, do you think that's going to be what maybe makes SMITE viable as an esports title and successful as an esports title? Because we've seen the same with kind of Riot and companies like that.
Definitely. I think it's a really good move that they're actually focused on this, and they put a lot of effort into like bringing out the competitive scene. I mean, of course, you still have to take in the casual and the casual scene as well, because well, it needs to run around as well. But I think it's really good for them. Like, Bard is doing so much work, and Duke is doing so much work. I mean, they're just, everyone in general are just really working hard for this. And I'm really appreciating it.
I mean, I know Hi-Rez as well have been kind of almost assisting players in making the most of their opportunities within the scene, such as, for example, paying people to stream on their official stream and things like that. I mean, what are your experiences with Hi-Rez?
We have gotten a lot, like, for example, Spoo and Yumpe have been streaming from time to time, and like even people as Lacis from Root have been just shouting out that they're streaming and just go check out the stream. Like, that's what we have. We also got offers to like stream on their official stream, but we have been turning it down because Spoo either didn't have time at the moment or just didn't want to, because he was kind of busy and didn't want to stream too much because his computer wasn't really optimal. He had some CPU problems, so he wouldn't just like go out there and deliver like a bad stream.
Well, you've been on the front page of Twitch as well. I mean, SMITE has. There's been a high number of streamers and certainly a large volume of people watching the streams. Do you think that the average gamer, is being reached and targeted? Do you think there is this interest in SMITE right now?
Yeah. Even when I'm streaming over at the Complete booth, like people come up and say, "Oh, what is this game? Oh, it's a lot like WoW, and it's a lot, but it's also a lot like Dota and League." And it's kind of a funny like situation because you have like, well, it's very skill based. It's all about skill shots in this. So it's kind of like this and everything. But it's really fun to play. And then it has a like you can sit down casually and just play the game and just enjoy it. But you can also take it further, like, oh, this god I like in particular, so I can be really good with this guy. Like, really, kind of like Bloodline Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just like you have to play this one guy, otherwise you're not going to do great. But you're going to do good, but you're not going to do great, kind of deal.
Is there a worry, though? I mean, obviously the game's still in beta at the moment, and I know that guys like yourself and guys like the Root Gaming guys and the SK guys and the guys that have got a lot invested in the scene. I mean, is there a worry that if the game doesn't take off, like, what are you guys going to be doing?
There's always a worry about that. I mean, imagine the hours we put into this game, and it's like, oh, it's not going to be a success. But I'm not too afraid because it's looking really good. I mean, I remember League in the beginning. It didn't look too good, yeah, just to be honest. I mean, they had a lot of bumps in the road, but it turned out like amazing. Like, just looking at it in general, like it's doing so good now.
I mean, what about as well though the kind of plans? Like, you guys obviously talk to Hi-Rez. I know they're very interested in pro player feedback and helping you know, manage the game as it moves forward. So I mean, what are there any kind of changes you would like to make at the moment? Any plans on the horizon that maybe we should know about?
I wouldn't be the one to make changes in the game. I mean, of course there are minor bug fixes that I would like to have addressed, but I mean they will be addressed. It's just I know for a fact that they're kind of undermanned for the job because they're really good like programmers and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're just not that many.
Yeah.
Like compared to other like companies. And yeah.
So nothing you can think of off the top of your head that you would maybe tweak at the moment?
No, I wouldn't just say like this god just needs something like changed completely. I mean, I wouldn't say something that people already know, because I mean there's a god Kali. Yeah. She's never really picked in competitive play, and I know she's gonna get like a rework. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of my point.
Yeah. Well, what about as well, though? I mean, I know you've had positive experiences, say, for example, with Bart. It was actually, I mean, Bart played a big part in getting you into Copenhagen Wolves,
yes,
didn't he?
Indeed. Yeah, he did, because we were like, I know Copenhagen Wolves were like asking Bart, like, oh, if there's a European team we should pick up, like, who should we pick up? And they were like, oh, there's the My Revenge guys, but they've kind of already been picked up and stuff. And then he kind of contacted us and it's like, we have this deal and we can offer you. And it was like, oh, this sounds really great. So we kind of took the chance and went with them.
So what does the future hold for Copenhagen Wolves? Where are we going to see the team next? What are you guys going to be doing? You know, do we have any competitions to look forward to? Because I know there's obviously lots of My Revenge Cups and other things like that coming up.
There's already like a tournament tomorrow that we're going to play. Like I think it's a monthly. I'm not entirely sure. Don't hang me up on it. But just those small tournaments, and of course the 100K, I will be streaming once I get a new apartment, because the internet I have at the moment is really shabby. It's like, yeah, it's like 1.8, so yeah, it's just not going to be enough.
Do you have any plans to attend the offline competitions? I mean, are we definitely going to see you somewhere soon?
Definitely. Like if there's online events, we should be there.
And just finally, are there any shout-outs that you have to give? Because I always get told off in my interviews, I never let people do shout-outs because I think it's tacky. But apparently, like, if you don't do it, you're killing esports. So I got to let you give some shout-outs to sponsors and things like that.
Oh, of course, like my sponsors, like Copenhagen Wolves and all, like Adidas and Komplett and SteelSeries. Like, of course, I want to do shout-outs to them because they're like sponsoring me and everything. Hyrrok for doing an awesome job, and Bart in particular. I'm really like appreciating it. And just my team and other teams, like in particular, for like making an effort to just go in there, because of course people should also get the chance to play.
Well, I've said I'm going to be going all in when SMITE goes live. I'll probably see you at these events. I'm going to make sure that I'm covering it because I think it's you know, a good game with a bright future. So thanks very much for taking the time out of your busy day to of playing to talk to me. And to all the people out there, I know it's probably the first time you've seen me do a SMITE interview. It certainly won't be the last. So do stay tuned to our website for more content like this from here in Copenhagen Games 2013.